Hey everybody, Sino here, and welcome to DOPEamine, the show that is all about mental health, empowerment, creative expression, and personality typology. Today on the show, I'm talking to my fellow INTPs about the secret to forward motion. And before we go forward, we have our email list below if you want to go sign up for that. And you'll get access to our Breakdown 2.0 video about INTPs, all of the basically brain dump of everything I know about INTPs up to this point. And you'll get access to like exclusive emails and discounts on courses and all of that fun stuff. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/DOPEamine, if you want to go check that out for exclusive content and being able to provide financial support to this channel to keep things going. So I want to talk a little bit about the secret to INTP forward motion. And what I mean by forward motion is productivity, creativity, expansion, big ideas, being able to decide which ideas are some of the best ideas, and being able to brainstorm what makes the most sense for you moving forward. Especially if you have someone in your life who is close to you and kind of in your introverted world, this is the opportunity for you to allow them to see more intimately what it is that you're doing and trying to create, and take that and expand it with you. So one of the challenges that we have as INTPs is trusting our intuition as we start to develop it. Because it becomes really easy to just see that everything could be right. Any answer could be the right answer, and we can make any reasoning for why something should or should not exist. Why we have this one idea and it's the best idea we've ever thought of. Whereas if we just do that by ourselves, it's really easy to take an idea and just pick it and run with it and say like, this is the best one. But if you're working with other people and you're brainstorming with other people, especially other intuitives, especially other extroverted intuitives, other NPs in your life, presenting your idea to them and talking about it and expanding upon it gives you the opportunity to do basically the intuitive mind meld that intuitives do with each other. Especially if you have more than one you can bounce ideas off of, then you can kind of expand this idea and find out how much meat and weight this idea actually carries. So if you're trying to figure out what kind of a website or what kind of a YouTube channel or what kind of a book you're trying to write, it's one thing to come up with all the ideas yourself, because there's a lot of things that we like. You know, you like video games. I like Dragon Ball. I like writing, I like typology, and tarot stuff's kind of interesting. I don't know, flowers are cool. Seth Godin, I don't know. You can pick any random thing and you're like, I could write a whole bunch of things about that. But if you're brainstorming with people, you can go beyond just the basic surface level of what is a creative idea. Now I saw on, I think it was lynda.com back in the day, I watched a video where a guy was talking about creative brainstorming and talking about that process. And he had people in the group break up into 3 teams. And the idea was that each team were to take an idea and a concept, let's say like pirates, and you had to write on a list like, what are all the things that you think of when you think of pirates? And the first 5 were pretty common. Like you think of like a pirate patch or a parrot or a hat or a boat or, you know, whatever. You pick up some of the obvious things. But after about 10 or 11 items, the group starts to brainstorm together and starts to come up with new ideas that are a little bit different than the ones before. Because you have to kind of work through all of the cliche ideas to get to the interesting stuff. That is not only with brainstorming, but that's when creating things. So one of the challenges I had with this YouTube channel, for example, was to just make things. And even if the things that I'm making feels like low-hanging fruit. Now our minds as TI people, we feel like a show of our intelligence is to be more complex. That if we can show that we're capable of complex things, that's to show how intelligent we are. But to get to those complex things and to get to those things that are actually meaningful, original, important, creative, we have to actually talk about some of the obvious ideas first. And if we're just doing it ourselves, our TI might ignore some of those base level ideas, which are important to get to the good ideas. Does that make sense? So by brainstorming with multiple people, especially NPs that we're kind of branching and adding on to ideas, and you as the person who is asking for ideas can facilitate and make sure that we're actually kind of staying on track a little bit, can make sure that we're being additive, more of the yes and kind of scenario, and adding new ideas to everything that we're actually experiencing and wanting to place into this idea. So hopefully that makes sense. Generally, it's like brainstorming with multiple people is one of the best paths forward. So for me, I get really stuck. I get stuck in feeling like I'm spinning my wheels too much. I don't know what the best idea is. I feel like I just want to get rid of everything. And usually when I get to that feeling where I want to get rid of everything, like I want to quit, that is when I need to double check with people in my life. That's usually when I need to ask Molly, like, okay, I've been thinking about this and this and this, like, what's something I can kind of add to this to make it more interesting? Or is this actually a good idea? And really just regardless of who you're asking, I think NPs are probably the best option, but I think if you're able to connect with some people who are going to give you a little bit of a push and really thoroughly break down a concept, then you can feel like you've actually vetted the capability of this idea and then be able to make the decision as to whether or not this thing is worth doing. So again, with this YouTube channel, there have been a million times where I've wanted to quit. A million times with the podcast that I've wanted to quit. And usually when I have discussions with Molly or my friend's a personality hacker or some people online and kind of bring some of my fears to the surface, I can talk it through and realize that there's probably some uncharted territory that I haven't tapped into yet. Or there's certain ideas that I can bring to the table that are going to be interesting. Or that there is more opportunity, basically, within this idea. There's more doors to open. And if it was just up to me, I would just get rid of it because that's easier, right? So the path forward for INTPs is to not just get rid of it and to ask other people for help and to brainstorm, especially if you've got 2 or 3 NPs in your life. And if you need to brainstorm something with me, please leave a comment. I'm happy to help you out. Just to work out an idea, because it's really easy for us to say like, that's too big. I can't quite do it. It's probably not realistic. Or, that's going to take too many steps. Or that's not quite my speed. But somebody else can look at you and say like, no, that's definitely your thing. That's definitely something where you can actually do this, or have you tried this? So in a sense, it's not being in your own head and allowing other people to bounce ideas off of you and be able to take this thing and see how big it can go, and allowing other people to help you see how big this thing can get. So that, to me, is the secret and the path to forward motion for INTPs is expansion through connecting your idea to other people to really test if it's got some weight. So that's it for this episode. I appreciate you guys. I hope this made sense. I hope this was helpful. If you have ideas that you need to brainstorm and work out, leave some comments and let me know what you think. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/DOPEamine. If you want to go check that out, I would appreciate your love and support. Financial support is big for this channel. We really, really need to keep going. So if you feel like you've gotten value from some of these videos, please go ahead and leave some support, and I promise you I will make you some rad individual content and give you some more specific help for some of the things that you need. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you next time on DOPEamine.